My dear friends, there is a beautiful truth about life that most people discover too late, and some never discover at all. We spend our younger years chasing life, and our later years questioning life. But after 70, something powerful can happen if we allow it. Not a change in circumstances, not a change in people, but a change in mindset. And that one shift is this: from what have I lost to what can I still give? This single shift changes everything. Asterisk, let me share a story. There was an elderly man named Raghavan. He was 74 years old, a retired school principal, a man once respected, surrounded by people, always busy. After retirement, everything became silent. No morning greetings from students, no staff meetings, no decisions to make. His children were settled abroad. His wife had passed away a few years earlier. One day he sat alone and said, Asterisky have become useless. Asterisky have become useless. Asterisk, and slowly that thought became his identity. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Stopped going out, stopped talking to neighbors, stopped smiling. Until one day, something unexpected happened. A young boy from the neighborhood knocked on his door and said, Asterisk, Uncle, can you help me with my studies? My parents said you were a principal. Asterisk, reluctantly, he agreed. One student became two. Two became five. Soon his small living room turned into a free evening classroom. And something magical happened. The same man who once said, I am useless, now said, I am needed. Asterisk, his health improved. His smile returned. His purpose came back. What changed? Not his age, not his past, not his situation. Only one thing changed: his mindset. The trap most people fall into after 70. Many people unknowingly shift into a dangerous mindset. Asterisk, my time is over. Dots. Asterisk, now it's just waiting. Dots. Asterisk, I have done my part. But think about it. Does the sun say, after shining for years, now I will stop giving light? Asterisk, does a tree say, after growing old, asterisk, now I will stop giving shade? Asterisk, no. Nature teaches us something very deep. Your value is not in your age, it is in your contribution. The real shift from consumption to contribution in the first half of life we are taught to achieve. Asterisk, build a career, asterisk, raise a family, asterisk, earn respect. But after 70, life invites us to something higher, asterisk, to contribute, to give, to uplift. Asterisk, because now you have something priceless. Asterisk, wisdom, asterisk, experience, asterisk, perspective, things money can never buy. 1. From what have I lost to what can I still give? My dear friends, the human mind has a strange habit. It remembers losses more vividly than blessings. Especially after the age of 70, many people sit quietly and begin counting what is no longer there. The job that once gave identity is gone. The children who once filled the house with laughter are busy in their own lives. The body that once moved effortlessly now demands attention and care. And slowly, a dangerous question starts echoing inside: what have I lost? But this question, if repeated long enough, becomes a prison. Let me take you back to Raghavan. When he retired, he did not just leave his job, he unknowingly left behind his sense of purpose. Every morning, he woke up not to opportunity, but to emptiness. His mind became a mirror reflecting only absence. And when the mind focuses on loss, even abundance feels invisible. But the day that young boy knocked on his door, something shifted, not outside, but inside. For the first time in months, Raghavan was not thinking about what he didn't have. He was thinking about what he could offer: knowledge, guidance, time, presence. And that is when life began to move again. You see, contribution is like a flowing river. When water flows, it remains fresh. When it stagnates, it begins to decay. In the same way, when we continue to give, even in small ways, our spirit stays alive. The moment we stop giving, we begin to feel stuck. After 70, you may not be able to run fast. You may not be able to work long hours. But you can still give something that the world desperately needs: ourselves, your patience, your understanding of life's ups and downs. And here is the irony: when you shift from what have I lost to what can I still give, you stop feeling empty. Because giving fills you in ways taking never can. So every morning, instead of asking, what is missing in my life? Ask, where can I add value today? It may be a kind word, a listening ear, a small act of guidance. That one shift transforms existence into purpose. 2. From achievement to contribution in the early stages of life, we are trained like runners in a race. Study well, get a job, build a career, earn money, raise a family. Achieve, achieve, achieve. And there is nothing wrong with that. Achievement gives structure to life, it builds discipline and responsibility. But after a certain point, especially after 70, continuing to live only with an achievement mindset can quietly create suffering. Why? Because achievement is often tied to roles and roles change. When the title disappears, the mind starts questioning identity. If I am no longer a manager, then who am I? If my children don't depend on me anymore, what is my role? This is where many people feel lost, not because life has ended, but because their definition of life has become too narrow. Let me share the story of Shanta Devi. She had no degrees, no formal achievements. If society measured her life by certificates, she would appear ordinary. But what she did after 70 was extraordinary. She shifted from achievement to contribution. She didn't ask, what qualifications do I have? She asked, what experience do I have? And that question changed everything. She began guiding young girls not with textbooks, but with truth, not with theories, but with lived wisdom. She spoke about dignity, resilience, and courage. And those girls who might have otherwise dropped out began to see a different future. This is the beauty of contribution. It does not require perfection, it requires intention. After 70, life is not asking you to prove yourself anymore. It is inviting you to express yourself. You're no longer here to compete. You're here to contribute. And contribution has no retirement age. You can mentor someone. You can share stories with your grandchildren. You can support someone emotionally. You can even contribute through a smile, through encouragement, through presence. Achievement says, look at what I have done. Contribution says, look at how I can help. And strangely, contribution brings a deeper satisfaction than achievement ever could. Because achievement feeds the ego, but contribution nourishes the soul. So if you truly want peace after 70, don't ask, what can I achieve now? Ask, whose life can become a little better because I exist? That is where true fulfillment begins. Final thought. My dear friends, as we come to the end of this reflection, let us pause for a moment not to look back with regret, but to look within with honesty. Life after 70 is often misunderstood. Society quietly labels it as a phase of slowing down, stepping aside, or fading into the background. But that is a very limited understanding of a very powerful stage of life. Because what appears on the outside as a sunset, on the inside it can be a sunrise of wisdom. The real question is not how many years are left. The real question is, how will those years be lived? Many people unknowingly enter this phase with a closing mindset. They start withdrawing not just from activities but from meaning. They speak less, engage less, expect less. And slowly life becomes smaller, not because it has to, but because the mindset has shrunk. But life is not asking you to shrink. Life is asking you to shift. Shift from attachment to acceptance. Shift from control to trust. Shift from me to meaning. You see, when we were younger, life was about building careers, families, identities. But after 70, life becomes about distilling, removing what is unnecessary, and focusing only on what truly matters. And what truly matters? Connection, contribution, inner peace. At this stage, you have something that no young person can buy, no matter how rich they are, you have lived experience. You have seen success and failure. You have experienced love and loss. You have learned lessons that books cannot teach. So the question is, will you let that wisdom sit silently within you, or will you let it flow into the lives of others? Because when wisdom is shared, it becomes a legacy. Let me tell you something very simple yet very profound. A candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. In fact, the room becomes brighter. In the same way, when you give your time, your guidance, your presence, you do not become less. You become more alive. And here is the deepest truth. Happiness in the later years does not come from being needed by many, it comes from being meaningful to even one. One person you guide, one person you support, one person whose life becomes lighter because of you. That is enough. So don't measure your life now by speed or productivity. Measure it by impact and depth. Each morning, wake up with a simple intention. Today, I will not just live, I will add value. Maybe through a kind word, maybe through patience, maybe through simply being present for someone who feels alone. Because in the end, life will not ask you how long you lived. It will gently ask how deeply did you live and how many hearts did you touch. So, my dear friends, remember this one mindset shift that changes everything. Stop asking, what have I lost? Start living, what can I still give? And when you live like that, your days will not feel like counting down, they will feel like counting meaning. Your life will not feel like an ending, it will feel like a beautiful completion. And most importantly, you will not just grow old, you will grow fulfilled. Thank you.